aber am Ende ist entscheidend, dass das Pferd glücklich ist. Und wenn das Pferd glücklich ist, ist es weiter.
Don't miss it and get a premium membership on Ponies TV now to enjoy the full program. National events, worldwide live broadcasts, academy videos, as well as our in-depth archive search for horse or rider. And all that, whenever and wherever you want. Whether on a tablet, smartphone, computer or smart TV, with a premium membership, you always have the whole world of equestrian sports on the go with you.
Foreningen Dressurens Venner uddeler hvert år Ishammersen pris til en person, der har gjort mest for dressuren, ligesom individuelle ryttere kan søge legater. Derudover støtter foreningen events, både for de Danmarksmesterskaberne og internationale stævner på dansk grund. Og på breddeniveau og Dressurens Venner Koppen har hvert år afviklet selvfølgelig A-niveau.
Og hvis man kan følge nogen sådan på deres vej, og de er ikke så langsomt arbejde, det er spændende og opmuntrende.
Dressurens Venner uddeler omkring 500.000 kroner årligt til at fremme aktiviteter, der ligger inden for formålet. Midlerne kommer fra sponsorer og medlemmer, og det handler alt sammen om at sætte dansk dressur på verdenskortet.
Det er sådan et kick, hvis man kan sige det, og absolut med stolthed og en egen stolthed følger jeg skoler. Men særlig også de internationale baner.
Foreningen samarbejder med det Mediens Rideforbund, Hestens Værn, og nu også online-portalen på Bedre TV, der med korte videoer formidler rideteori fra de dygtigste trænere.
Og man kan se de her klip om og om igen, og prøve det så på sin hest, og få fra andre ryttere nye impulser. Det tror jeg kan blive rigtig godt og spændende samtidig. Det er jo nogle stykker, som synes, at dressur er noget af det mest værdifulde.
Equestrian life is a life filled with love, passion, ambition, and dreams. At Helmstrand, we educate and train world-class dressage horses. With Olympic medals, world and European championship titles, and more than 30 medals from the World Championships for young horses, we have written history on the international stage. At Helmstrand Youngsters, we make sure the next generation of dressage horses get the very best start. With world-class facilities and 150 hectares of open land, we provide the best conditions for their welfare and development. Today, we accommodate more than 700 horses across our training centres in Denmark, at Helmstrand, Germany, and outstanding stables with Patrick Kittel in Germany and at Eagle Tree Farm in Wellington, United States. Helmstrand Dressage is not only a home to our riders, trainers and staff, it's the place where passion meets professionalism and where everything is designed with the welfare of the horses in mind.
You cannot force to go again to the Olympics, to go again to the World Championship, but you can go for it.
Ja, het mooiste van topsport vind ik gewoon, dat is gewoon de wedstrijd kunnen winnen.
APO ist ein Baustein in dem ganzen System, was bei uns ist. Und das ist wie ein Puzzle, wenn da ein Stein fehlt oder nicht passt, dann kann das Ganze nicht funktionieren am Ende.
Ik denk wat je ziet is dat de paarden absoluut fitter zijn en beter presteren. En dat het ook voortkomt uit dat we heel specifiek voeren. En dat als een paard ergens iets last van heeft, sneller verzuurt, maken we weer een andere afweging voor. En dat op die manier de paard gemakkelijk op topniveau.
In onze sport is het energie eruit halen, gebeurt ook samen met de paarden. Ik zit in het midden op de koers en ik heb twee mensen achter me staan, twee crews. En dan heb ik natuurlijk de paarden voor de koers staan die ook de drijf naar voren hebben en power in zich hebben.
Ich glaube, am Ende ist entscheidend, dass das Pferd glücklich ist. Und wenn das Pferd glücklich ist, ist der Reiter auch glücklich.
Well, welcome to the FEI Jumping Ponies Trophy Grand Prix here in Boxen. This big 1 metre 30 track, it's the Grand Prix. The ponies and their riders have been really all aiming for this class. But a big thank you to Pavo for, at Pavo, they know your horse is more than just a horse. It's part of the family. That's why we developed FEI that supports health, energy and well-being, whether you ride for fun or compete at the top level. Our products are based on the latest research and created with a love for horses, just like yours. Pavo, because your horse deserves the best. Thank you to our sponsors for the FEI Jumping Ponies Trophy Grand Prix. And now a message for all the athletes from the FEI. Jumping Ponies Trophy Season 2025. It's with great anticipation we come together here in Herning, Denmark to kickstart the FEI Jumping Ponies Trophy Season 2025 before they head out to Lyon in France and Stuttgart in Germany. The final will take place in Michelin in Belgium, where together we will find out who the 2025 champion will be. We will see the future generation of athletes compete on their ponies alongside some of the greatest idols in the sport. Series such as the FEI Jumping Ponies Trophy represents a unique opportunity for our rising stars to gain standing and can act as a springboard for future representation on the international senior circuit. The ambition and strive for excellence exhibited by the young competitors can only be admired. And it's thanks to the continuous efforts of organisers, volunteers, officials, sponsors and owners that we are able to continuously see our sport thrive. So, to all the athletes present, to their families and support systems, we wish you a fantastic event and the very, very best of luck. So, the competition about to get underway, we will be able to welcome the 24 participants, 11 different nations, 5 from the Netherlands, 4 from Great Britain and Denmark, 3 from France, 2 from Sweden, and 1 from Belgium, Austria, Monaco, Germany, Belgium and Ireland. That is what's going to make...
Good evening and welcome here to Herning to the Boxen and the opening leg of the FEI Jumping Ponies Trophy for 2025. It is Grand Prix night. It is the time when we actually deliver the first set of points in the series that will go on to the Longines-Nikita-Lyon in France, the Stuttgart German Masters in Germany in November, and then it will be on to the finals in the Neckarhall in Mechelen between Christmas and New Year at Jumping International Mechelen. The scene since the very first year of Jumping Ponies Trophy of those finals, and of course the show that suits it best with our riders aging out of ponies on the 31st of December. But some real young talents here who've got plenty of years of ponies ahead of them, including our pillar to post leader here at the moment for the Netherlands. It is Leonie Kuremans, or Lieslot Kuremans, my apologies, and Lieslot having qualified as the winner in the Meter 25 class the other day, comes forward as last to go here tonight. So Joy Neumann is our first to go. Joy, who was part of the Dutch team this year at the FEI Youth Nations Cup finals in Leer in Ezelhof. Just the one down on the first night. A little bit of a tough go for them in the actual warm-up qualifier class for the Grand Prix. So that means that with the ordered draw, based on the results of that class, that Joy and Cash van Orchids come quite early and will be the first to take on Mark McGowan and his team's track here. And of course, jump-off format for our Grand Prix. After that first line up the middle of the ring, he now has them here in front of the crowd. And unfortunately, it's going to be a full elimination, sadly, after the 4 for the refusal. The fall will turn into elimination for Joy. If memory serves, I think this horse just took a little bit of a duck down and a look at a filler under a fence the other night as well in the warm-up class. So unfortunately just not going their way after a fairly positive start, just a single rail against them in the Meter 20 class on day 1 here in Herning. So Joy Neumann and Cash van Orchids unfortunately not going to pick up points here in Herning. And they'll be looking at their campaign now to decide about the Stuttgart and the Mechelen, Stuttgart and the Lyon qualifying legs. So our team just get everything reset at the Clip My Horse fence over there in the corner of the ring at number 3. And the tone goes for our second contender, Tara Sweetnam. Tara and Classic. Tara here with a couple of ponies. The is a big series of classes here and divisions at World Cup Herning, as the World Cup deriving from the FEI Dressage World Cup that had its opening leg here earlier on today in the Boxen. And there's a lot of supporting dressage tours for young horses, for young riders. The same with all of the show jumping. There's a supporting pony tour. There's 1-star, 3-star show jumping. There is also young horse show jumping and young rider show jumping. So Tara's been pretty busy here with the horses, as I said, in the ponies, but also in some of the CSI 1-star classes. And here's another problem coming down this line. It is in the Equisana fence here, going into the double, that acid green colour there alongside the black. I don't think it has any great impact on the look of the fence, but again, just seems to be that coming down that side of the arena, the horses are, or the ponies are just not at the moment getting the comfort they need from their riders. You see the light plank there on the Herning crest fence. So a lot of time faults as well, of course, coming into play for Tara Sweetnam and Classic. It is a total of 28 with that time of 95.04. So a tough start here for our Grand Prix contenders, but of course we are going in reverse order of merit based on the warm-up class here 2 nights ago. So Bethany Vos, Gumbo Mumbo for the Netherlands, again going back to some of the FEI Nations Cup youth this summer, riding at De Volden and also at Hagen for the Dutch team. Bethany with 4 previous appearances at the FEI Pony European Championships. Again, that line along the long side, it's actually going away from the in-gate end of the arena, but the in-gate is actually in the other corner, so they're not directly going away from it, but again, perhaps the ponies are just dropping back that little bit. There you see the in-gate in the corner of the shot. A little bit cold back there. You see them twisting through the body as they land. 76 seconds time allowed, so we're into that as well. It is 8 for jumping, 1 for time for Bethany Vos. So jump off format competition, all of those in equality of first place on table A faults will come back. So it's usually all of the zeros. Who gives us our first clear? And it means that it is a clear and clear only required for the jump off. Robin Vermeer, another series and season and winter in the Jumping Ponies Trophy for Robin, here with Atomic de Barry. Atomic went very well for Robin on the opening night of Jumping Ponies Trophy here, with a steady clear and a bit of prize money, and then going up to the meter 25, it wasn't quite their night, so they need to regain that first night form. I say a horse we know well from Great Britain and Ireland. Been with a couple of good riders over the years, Atomic de Barry. So again, coming away from the end of the ring. And taking the first part of the triple combination for 4 faults. If they come home on 4, they'd be in the lead at the moment. I mean, obviously there's the opportunity for somebody to come through a little bit here, but it's a little bit disheartening, the format, that we have the guys who didn't have such a great night at meter 25. For Robin here, it is actually just the unlucky rail, and actually does a good job of managing her way out of the rest of the triple combination line. The B and the C element verticals remain standing. Yeah, 4th place finisher on the first night, and then languishing down the order a little bit. Zetec and Ruby Payne for Great Britain, the Irish bred. And actually the fence on the middle of that bowing line helped square them up, because you saw Zetec just take that hard shift to the left over number 1. Which, if there hadn't been the fence to hold them out on their line, might have just ended up with them getting to fence 2 a little bit between 2 strides. Ruby and Zetec, podium finishes in the Pony Grand Prix at Global Future Champions this year at Valkenswaard. A former Children on Horses team bronze medalist for Great Britain. That was at Gorla in Italy back in 2023. And still on the 0 score at the moment, so finding that first night form here in the box and at Herning. Oh, just really stepped over that. Ruby pushed on at the fence after the Helgstrand, and Zetec just came right back to her, but was genuine enough over the fence, unfortunately catching the front rail of the Rustic Oxer there on the way home. So it is the 4 faults for Ruby Payne and Robin Vermeer, so they are equal in the lead at the moment on 4 until we get that better score.
So stepping forward now, the first of our Danish athletes,
Amelie Broom Harold and Good Boy de Bondet will be our next to go, and it is the first for Denmark. Denmark actually enjoying a good run of form in the Ponies Jumping Trophy here at their home show at Herning. Good Boy de Bondet was Amelie's ride this summer at the Nordic Baltic Championships in Apaya in Finland, where they were team silver medalists. And top 10 finishers here on the first night of sport in the Jumping Ponies Trophy as well. Chunky enough, that clip, my horse Oxer, at the beginning of the line. As much as anything, one of the aspects of why that line was causing difficulties early on is you ride that nice curving line down the middle of the ring, then you're pressed up against the audience. Of course, it's a busy night getting ready not only for this Grand Prix, but then the 3-star Big Tour Grand Prix here later on in the boxing. And the fact that the fence has suddenly become, you know, very, very chunky. That's where the Grand Prix element of this really begins, you know. And we're up to meter 30. This is the biggest these ponies will have jumped this week. He gets a little bit of a gasp from the crowd there, and actually looks like actually did catch a rail up there at the far end of the ring. So Amelie Broom Harold joins the ranks of the 4 faulters. And when it comes to it, and they are divided, Amelie is the fastest, Ruby Payne a little slower, Robin Vermeer the slowest of the 4s at the moment.
France now bring forward first of 3 athletes. Lovely to have France here. Paul Barrasolge comes forward with the Rocambole mare, the 16-year-old Vahi
So Paul Barrassot already off and running. Just 14 years old. Paul with a couple of years of ponies ahead of him with Vahine de Kergois. Again, clear in the meter 20 day with Vahine, and then ending up with jumping and time faults in Friday night's meter 25. And maybe just a little bit too forward and aggressive down that line. Again, you get that sense of just being that little bit fast and flattening out the quality of the jump over the final element of the double there at 4B. So Paul Barrassot will also post a 4-fault round, 72.83. Our 4-faulters are getting faster and faster when it comes to it, and we divide them. Paul Barrassot is the fastest of the 4-faulters. But at the moment, we have 4 potential jump-off contenders with those 4 on 4-faults. And here, again, you see about the reverse order of qualification, because whilst a lot of guys didn't have that great night, they come quite early, they had a mixed bag because they had a good night on the opening night and they were able to recapture a bit of that form. One down is not looking that bad at all here, the way this competition is playing out at the moment. So we've already seen Bethany Voss with Gumbo Mumba. Now it's the turn of Mina Voss, Jasmine's Holly. Jasmine's Holly, a team pony this summer at Le Mans for the Netherlands and for Mina Voss. Just a little bit out of position with her seat and hands there all the way down that line. I mean, Jasmine's Holly just being a little bit heavy in the hand, but as Mina tried to sit up and balance against that, against the very, very delicate plank at the beginning of the line, the far end of the ring, that was going to go down off that approach. So they too now are on 4. The question is, do they stay on 4 by the time they get to the end of this track? Coming towards the last, the time allowed would be no problem for the pair. And Mina Voss and Jasmine's Holly become a 4-faulter and faster yet, 72.20. And again, while we talk about, 5 in a row jumping clear, 5 potentially in that jump off on 4-faults. As we go in reverse order of the qualification class, we should be getting a few clears towards the end. So those guys won't be resting on their laurels. And Gabriel Richard on course. Dandy Royale. Again, a partnership. They're on the French team that just missed out on a medal this summer at their home championships in Le Mans. And actually for this pair, just a single rail against them both days in the meter 20 and meter 25 qualification legs. To Gabrielle, 16 years old in her final year in ponies. Probably on paper with the best chance so far of delivering a clear round here. Working for it as she comes to the Helgstrand fence because they need to manage this distance down to the vertical after it. And there we are, just sneaking inside the time, but it is good enough. Gabriel Richard and Dandy Royale become our first clear round And once we get those subsequent clears, they will come back for the jump off in the order in which they qualify. So Gabriel Richard and Dandy Royale clear round number 1 and will be first back for the jump off as well here in the Jumping Ponies Trophy leg of Herning.
So let's now return to Great Britain for the third of the British riders, athletes.
A top 10 finisher here in Herning in the Grand Prix last year before going on to the finals of the Jumping Ponies Trophy in Mechelen, and a very good result on day 1 of our tour. Emily Gulliver, as well as jumping well through the qualification over the Thursday and Friday night here. No, Wednesday and Thursday night here. Also a class winner with her other pony, Molly, in the Kingsland Pony Cup. Britain the winners of the Challenge Cup final this year at the FEI Youth Nations Cup finals in Leer Eselhof, and Emily a member of that team. As can sometimes happen, you know, once we have that one clear, we could see quite a few come through all of a sudden. 24 in the starting order. This is number 10 of them. Just one to go. Watching the time, 76 seconds. It is again going to be very, very close. Emily Gulliver and Lucky Choice go clear, and now we for sure have a jump off on our hands. Gabrielle Richard and Emily Gulliver give us our first 2 clears here in our Parvo-sponsored points-winning leg of the Jumping Ponies Trophy here in Herning, the Grand Prix.
Parvo FEI Jumping Ponies Trophy Grand Prix. Well and truly alive. So from Austria now, we welcome Raphael Maximilian Ricard Eisenhardt with the pepper mill there, 12-year-old indie mill owned by Annette Eisenhardt.
Raphael Maximilian Reichardt Eisenhardt and Indie Mill, sole rider for Austria in the field this weekend. Clear on the first day, 4 faults on the second day of the Jumping Ponies Trophy with this one. His other horse is former championship pony Casino Royale, second in the Kingsland competition that was won by Emily Gulliver, as we were mentioning. And Raphael unfortunately puts himself on the back foot down there in the corner of the ring. An early 4 faults before coming to the triple combination. And of course now all of our 4 faulters have been divided based on time now that we have the clears. And unfortunately Raphael's chance, his tactic of maybe trying to be the fastest 4 faulters comes unstuck with a second rail down. So it's 8 faults in a very fast time of 67.21. It would have comfortably gone as fastest 4 faulter, but the second rail counting against him significantly.
Coming forward with the catches, Ronaldo Gelding, the 14-year-old Benoit de Renan. This one for Monaco. Delighted to have Sophia here. Good luck with Benoit.
So for Monaco, Sophie Aurelia Georges and Belios Dernan. Sophia just 13 years old, and with a couple of ponies here, including actually a pony winning in the meter 20 in the pony jumpers this weekend, Acapulco. But in terms of championships, appearances so far for the Principality of Monaco have been in the children on horses, including this summer at Riesenbeck in Germany in the youth championships there. Berlioz de Herning. Again, one of the better four-faulters, one of the faster four-faulters in the warm-up class at metre 25 here 2 nights ago. Just throwing a little buck, just want to keep concentration all the way home. 76 seconds time allowed. And done. We are clear round number 3 then for Sophia Aurelia Georges and Berlioz de Herning. So can the Netherlands make it onto the start list for the jump-off? France, Great Britain, Monaco, with riders qualified at the moment for the Grand Prix jump-off here of the Pony Jumping Trophy. Sennebeckers and Comte de Lisieux. Clear with just time penalties in the metre 25 here the other night. So far, Sennebeckers hasn't touched a rail here in Herning. Senna going the right way about keeping that form up of not touching a rail the whole weekend. Of course, countrywoman Lieselot Kuremans, a double of wins so far, and the defending Grand Prix champion here in Herning. Senna and Comte de Lisieux just appear to float over that front rail, going over the second last, and they're clear all the way. Very fast clear as well, if that translates into jump-off form, and Sennebeckers becomes clear round number 4. Rebecca Sehested-Juhl and MVS Carvel. So we're getting into a rider who has been clear in the 2 preceding classes here at Herning. Flying the flag very well for Denmark here in the box in this weekend. Unfortunately, an early rail here in the Grand Prix initial round is going to keep the Danish rider away from the top spots and the top points earning opportunities, with currently 4 of our riders on the 0 score, and we have some very fast four-faulters as well in the clubhouse, so getting high up the ranking here could be quite tricky. So in the final analysis, it is 2 down for Rebecca Sehested-Juhl and MVS Carvel, and of course the frustration for them is that it waited until tonight. They hadn't touched a rail until now, and it is 2, unfortunately, in the all-important Grand Prix leg of the Jumping Ponies Trophy for the home rider. To Germany's Laura Hertz-Eichenroder now and Kasper. 6th and 10th over the 2 nights of sport so far, and Kasper, one of our real veterans, 20 years old. I think we do actually have a 21-year-old pony in the field. Indeed, we do, in Lieselot Kuremans Ilando, who is our double winner so far. But Laura Hertz-Eichenroder and Kasper, you know, as we said, these ponies older than any of the riders in the competition. Laura herself 16 years old, so this is her last year in ponies. But here at Herning, jumping in some of the juniors and the under-18s classes, and had a couple of top 10s and double clears with her horse, Lord Louis. And Laura, number 7 on the floor. We've seen that a couple of times again, just going back down to that in-gate end of the boxing. So unlucky there with the vertical. The maximum high is down in the corner, meter 30 vertical for Laura Hertz, Eichenroder and Casper in 73.63, going into 7th position. Let's say our fastest for Falter, Mina Voss and Jasmine's Holly in 72.20. Our clears don't have to worry about their time. They are qualified for the jump off and qualified in the order in which they jumped. We go to Elise Thirion, Elise and Dancefloor de Coroy. Dancefloor de Coroy and Elise, part of the bronze medal winning Belgian team this year at Le Mans at the Pony European Championships. And again, those championships we've been mentioning, the youth championships for children on horses, juniors and young riders, and the pony championship at Riesenbeck and the pony championships at Le Mans, all available in the archive for premium members of Clip My Horse. In the whole series, there's about 11 or 12 shows next year of the FEI Youth Nations Cup jumping series, plus the finals and all of those youth championships to come before we get back around to another cycle of Jumping Ponies Trophy as well. So there's an awful lot of youth sport to look forward to in 2026 on Clip My Horse and FEI TV. Elise Thirion and Dancefloor looking good at the moment, just 2 fences away from being our 5th clear round. And it's very fast as well, 71 seconds on the clock, faster than any of the other clears, and actually looking down, I think faster than anyone else over the course. So Elise Thirion could really be one to reckon with when it comes to the jump off here a little bit later this evening. And that is clear round number 5, qualified to come back for the short course. Viggo Bergstrand is our next to go. Viggo, 15-year-old Viggo with Corbeil Legend. So Viggo might grow out of ponies before he ages out of ponies. A tall young man. Going, of course, now into our top 10 in the decisive warm-up class that set the starting order for our Grand Prix here tonight in Herning. Nice to get that second angle of the triple combination as well. As such an important fence, even, you know, it's not coming down very much, but that's because they're treating it with the respect it deserves. It occupies an interesting point in the course there, just a shade over halfway around the course for our pony riders. And as I say, now we're seeing the riders have the experience of having watched a few of their competitors, getting that feedback then from their coaches, of what has worked, what hasn't worked from the early riders, but also riding the crest of a wave of their own performance so far this week here at Herning. As I say, we're getting into some very, very serious results from over the course of the first 2 days here in the boxing. But again, you see that the horse just making a pony making a big effort there for Viggo over the final part of the triple combination, not without touching it. They were luck on their side. Brune favorite, 15-year-old Brune of France, and Enigme de Prix. Enigme, another French team pony this summer in Le Mans. And top 10 finishes in the meter 25 here 2 nights ago in the boxing. Yeah, actually, you look at that Polaris fence, and it's actually about the approach to it, because McGann has set the Liverpool, the water tray oxer before it very, very square. I mean, the back rail, front rail, out the full width pretty much of that water tray. So it's a big question. He is asking a proper Grand Prix end technicality here at the meter 34. These ponies, Bruin favourite, carrying the penalty. Just coming around to these final two, the rustic fence, and then on to the last, the Parvo, and Bruin favourite and Enigme. It is 4 faults in 70.14, and that is going to take up position as the fastest 4 faulter, but at the moment, that is 7th best on our ranking, with 6 clears coming back to be divided in a jump-off.
It's the Irish athlete Sam Widger coming forward with Sandra Duffy's 15-year-old chestnut gelding.
So Sam Widger and Little Smythe, a silver medalist this summer. Sam with his other pony Western Ranger at the Le Mans Europeans. Sam then also the reserve national 14-2 pony champion in Ireland at the Dublin Horse Show. And those classes from the main arena and the Simmons Court Arena at the Dublin Horse Show, all available on the Clip My Horse archive as well. Sam and Little Smithy having a good Herning with us. The Irish producing wonderful pony riders and have put forward some really strong challenges over the years of the Jumping Pony Trophy. And just as I wax lyrical about it, unfortunately grinding to a halt there at the Polaris. So Sam with a lot of time wasted and 4 faults with Little Smythe. And again, the first jumping penalties they've had, and indeed still on a technicality you could say haven't touched a rail. I think they felt good after, top 10 on day 1, just outside the top 5 on day 2. And the trajectory was going their way. Sam Widger and Little Smythe here. It is going to be the 4 jumping and a lot of time penalties when they get home. 90.41 on the clock, so that will translate to some looking like 15 time penalties.
4 jumping and 15 times a total then of 19. So into our last 5 in the first round, in jumping in reverse order from how they finished on Thursday. In 5th place on Thursday, 8th place on Wednesday. For Sweden, it's Lily Malmström with the 13-year-old Helga. This is a mare by Hugh Breitling and owned by FEI Malmström.
So Lily Malmström, Lily and Helga THO. Very interesting breeding on this one, being by the BZ Madden stallion, the Lacia Q Breitling. There's not a lot of Breitling horses on the ground. There's 1 or 2 jumping at the 5-star level, but very rare. Interesting to see this pony also a Breitling. Lily and Helga, pony gold medalists with the Swedish team this summer at the Nordic Baltic Championships in Apia. Top 10 on day 1, top 5 on day 2. Of course, going reverse order of merit, 5 remaining. We get to our 5th place finish, but Lily Malmström won't be part of our jump off tonight, so top 5 has gone for her today. It is a late rail at the second last for Lily Malmström and Helga THO in 68.87. That becomes the fastest 4 faulter, but again, a little bit academic when we've got such a big jump-off starting field. The best 7 places so far, best 6, my apologies, being taken by clears to be divided in the jump-off. very, very consistent over the first 2 days. Alfie Dijper for Great Britain and PJV Bella. Bella second on day 1, fourth on day 2. Alfie has looked like one of the strongest contenders against Liselott Kuremans here, just with the consistency and the speed that he has shown. Alfie's last year in Ponies, he is here with a couple of ponies and also some horses for the International One Star. Coming towards home. The time will be absolutely fine for Alfie Dijper and PJV Bella. And there we are, our latest clear round. And as we say, one who you would definitely put down as a marker in the sand, as a challenger to Liselott Kuremans. Alfie Dijper goes into our jump off. Of course, now we are really, really clarifying the names who are a threat here. And that, of course, is all guaranteeing that Liselott Kuremans' run of success and of form stays with her, and she goes through into the jump off herself. So top 5 here in Herning last year, and a podium finisher at the Mechelen final for Denmark. Selma Hundberg-Dressler, Selma and Lady Crown. Nice change of form day 1 to day 2. They were steady, clear and 9th on day 1 on the smallest course, metre 20. When it went up to metre 25 then 2 nights ago, they moved up into a podium position. And for the benefit of the home audience, that wasn't even the best Danish result. Our next contender, Palmer Sophie Grie Janssen Christensen, was actually second in the metre 25 warm-up. So Selma Hundberg-Dressler, Lady Crown, her horse for, or her pony for the championships at Le Mans this summer. There we are. That is a good one to see going through to our jump off. In one instance, of course, it puts a Danish rider in contention. It puts a Danish rider very late in the jump off, and it brings back at least one of our podium from the immediate warm-up and qualification class here 2 nights ago at metre 25. Selma Hundberg-Dressler and Lady Crown make it 8 currently for the jump off. So could we immediately get another for Denmark now in the shape of Palmer Sophie Grie Janssen Christensen, Odyssey de Aveline. Odyssey de Aveline was Palmer's Pony Championship partner in 2023 at Le Mans, when they finished individually 5th in Europe. Again, not without their own level of consistency. 5th on day 1, 2nd on day 2. We said Denmark, one of the reasons that they're very keen and willing to host this opening leg of the Jumping Ponies Trophy is that they do have real talent, and we saw that with a number inside the top 10 each day of sport, and certainly now with one at least qualified for the jump off here in the Grand Prix. And just sorting out that distance down to the vertical at the end of the long diagonal of the arena. 1 fence away, and yeah, it's 2 for Denmark. Palmer Sophie Grie Janssen Christensen qualifies now as well, making it 9 for the jump off. Will it be 10? Will we be welcoming our double Herning winner, Liselott Kuremans, in as the 10th qualifier and therefore 10th to go in the jump-off. But that's great for Palmer, Sophie Grie, Janssen Christensen, Bodeseda Aveline.
From the Netherlands, with her 21-year-old pony, Orlando van der Russel. For the Netherlands,
Orlando van der Rosshover and Lieselot Kuremans, the defending Grand Prix champions here in Herning, and the winners of our 2 competitions so far this week for the Jumping Ponies Trophy Series. Orlando and Lieselot, individual silver medalists at the Ponies in 2024. Lieselot this year went to the Children on Horses in Riesenbeck when she won the individual gold. We've been remarking, just 13 years old, turns 14 next month, so 2 full years left in ponies after this as well. Difficult to find a partner quite like Orlando, though, 21 years young, as we've been remarking. Probably one of the best down that line. One more to go. Lieselot Kuremans, Orlando van der Rosshover, and they are through into the jump-off, and that is 10 qualified to come back, and including all of our top 4 from the pre-qualifying class, and they will come in that reverse order of merit based on the qualifying class 2 nights ago. Our clears come back in the order in which they qualify, and our starting order was based on the result of the warm-up class 2 nights ago. So it means that Lieselot Kuremans, having jumped clear, comes back 10th of 10 for the short course here in our Jumping Ponies Trophy presented by Palvo at the World Cup Herning. And that World Cup title coming from the FEI Dressage World Cup here in Herning, the opening leg of the Western European League Series. If you missed the competition this morning, don't forget, of course, as a premium subscriber with FEI TV and Clip My Horse, you'll be able to pick up that in the archive and track the action. And of course, with the user interface, you can tune in to a specific horse and rider pair and watch them directly from the archive. World Cup, of course, to the fore this weekend, with the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup getting underway in Western Europe this weekend in Oslo. And that competition at 3:30 on Sunday. In North America, we have the Major League Show Jumpings leg at Tryon in North Carolina. For eventing fans, the FEI WBFSH Eventing Young Horse World Championships at Le Lion d'Angers for the 6- and 7-year-olds. And the other side of the Atlantic, the Mars Maryland 5-star, one of just 7 5-star events in the world. Takes place in the Fairhill Special Events Zone, and competition all weekend. Indeed, in just a short while, they will be getting underway with cross-country in that 5-star eventing competition. So a huge amount of top-level sport, and as ever, a huge amount of sport from all around the world each and every weekend on the Clip My Horse and FEI TV network. So if you're just joining us here at Herning at the FEI Jumping Ponies Trophy, we are getting set and just moving some of the materials to open up some of the lines for the short course, the jump off, where we have 10 qualified, including all of the best 4 from the warm-up competition here on Thursday. And our double winner and defending Herning champion, Lieselot Kuremans, will be last to go in that 10-strong jump off.
So, are we ready for the Pavo FEI Jumping Ponies Trophy Grand Prix jump off? Let me just run you through the course. We're going to be starting as before over fence 1.
So getting close to restarting here in the box and in Herning. Our track 1, 2, 3 as before, and then they're going to charge on down this side. Mark McGowan there, the designer, just building the vertical. So that is in position of where 4B was. We'll now call it fence 15, carrying on then to fence 6. So it's a turn across the ring to the fence with the water tray underneath, and you can just see it there on the way up to one of the big purple FEI squares on the wall. From that, then it is going to be a tight turn around the left shoulder to the 2 remaining parts of the triple combination. So they're jumping towards us, B and C, that now becoming a double of verticals. Next up then, it is going to be fence 9, and then on to the last fence, as was fence 13, but jumping in the opposite direction.
It's going to be crazy because from 15 round to 8, round to 6, sorry, from 15 to 6 to 8 to 9 is just twisting like a snake. And after 9, then they can have a gallop to risk.
Our jump off starting field, our first clear came from Gabrielle Richard, then Emily Gulliver straight away. Then it was Sophia Aurelia Georges of Monaco, followed by Senna Beckers and Comte Delicieux. After a pause, then we got 2 more in a row, Elise Thirion of Belgium and Viggo Bergstrand of Sweden. And then in the final run, it was 4 clears. Alfie Dijper of Great Britain, Selma Hundberg-Dressler of Denmark, Palmer Sophie Grie Janssen Christensen of Denmark, and Lieselot Kuremans, the defending Grand Prix champion of Herning 12 months ago for the Netherlands.
One for Sweden, and then 2 hopefuls from the home nation, from Denmark. This is not one to predict. jumping first, and the task of Gabriel Ricard, our first to go, will be to try and set down, throw down the gauntlet to the others with a fast clear. That will put such pressure on the other 9 athletes to know there is no hiding place, there is no room. They have to go clear, and they have to risk it to see how those turns can go. What can they take out of the track? They'll all be studying it back in the collective ring with their families, their advisors, their owners, their trainers, and pretty much certain all of them will be wanting to watch the first round or two. It's looking like we're nearly set to go for the Pavo FEI Jumping Ponies Trophy Grand Prix Jump Off.
So everything looks like it's locked into place now, ready for our jump off of 10 here to decide the opening leg of the 2025 season of FEI Jumping Ponies Trophy. Our Grand Prix here in Herning in the Boxen, presented and sponsored by Pavo, themselves incredible supporters of the sport. And our thanks for the team here at World Cup Herning of linking them with this prestigious Grand Prix of the Jumping Ponies Trophy. 10 to come back. Their starting order in this competition was based on the results of our warm-up 2 nights ago, and they jump off now in the order in which they qualified, which means we work our way through performance and form over the last few days here at Herning. And as I say, our final 4 qualifiers were the best 4 from the warm-up class 2 nights ago. The 9th in the arena earlier on and the first clear round, Gabriel Richard. A lot had come close, a couple of unlucky rails, so we could have seen a bigger jump-off starting field here. You look at all of the riders who had just scored the single rail against them. FEI Nations Cup Youth finalists this year. Pony Championships at Le Mans as well. Together, Gabriel Richard and Dandy Royale. And the Grand Prix clear round in the initial round coming at exactly the right moment because it was their first clear of the week. Although nothing else had been disastrous. It had just been a single rail against them on each of the preceding 2 nights. So 1, 2, 3. And from here, pushing on down to what is now a vertical where 4B was. Across the Liverpool and turning back, just going to bounce off number 2 here to get themselves back to what is now a double of verticals going through the triple combination line. Just the front rail, the first of those verticals down for Gabriel Richard and Dandy Royale. Pushing away across here to the last, the Pavo. It goes as well, unfortunately. Gabriel Richard and Dandy Royale have 3 down in the jump-off, but remember, top 10 is assured, having made it through to this short course round. Gabriel, I think, will be an interesting reference time because I don't think she left too much out there if she could avoid it. And Gabrielle in 41.86. Straight after Gabrielle, it was Emily Gulliver who gave us our next clear round. 15-year-old Emily with one of our younger ponies at 9 years old, Lucky Choice. So at the moment, Double Clear goes into the lead. Double Clear in low 40s is potentially competitive. Looks like she's just cutting a nice middle ground here, trying to be on the front foot, trying to be positive in terms of pace around this course, but not going crazy. And actually, if you can be quite rhythmic and positive and smooth, and look at this, you know, not actually bouncing off number two, but getting a turn inside it. But again, having turned there, Emily Gulliver's lucky choice just takes away the front rail of that vertical from the triple combination line. Emily pops out over the Parvo. It is a fraction faster, 41.84. So that's a very, very good reference from those two young riders. But Emily Gulliver and Lucky Choice with the nod at the moment with just this rail against them. But you can see how the ponies, you know, when they get there, it's such a short approach. And if they're not on a true and equal stride, very, very difficult for them to make a good shape out of pace going into what was the triple combination. Third jump-off qualifier was Sophia Aurelia Georges and Berlioz de Herning. Just doing a nice job sneaking inside the water tray 1 to 2 to try and open up that line. It's one you definitely need to be in the ring for. Looking at the map, it doesn't look like that's possible. This again is very, very smooth, and she gets it. So Sophia Aurelia Georges, Berlioz de Herning, the first clear through the double of verticals. One more to go to be clear. Ah, no, it's gone. 39.22. It is the fastest, but unfortunately it is going to be with 4 faults for Sophia Aurelia Georges and Berlioz de Herning. So still a clear, a steady clear inside the time is going to go into the lead here in the FEI Jumping Ponies Trophy.
But still, the clear rounds are eluding us. And we have the first of 2 athletes from the Netherlands now. Senna Beckers with the 8-year-old Comme il faut mare, Comme Delicieuse.
So Senna Beckers, Comme Delicieux. Member of the Dutch team that finished second in the FEI Nations Cup Youth Finals this year. Senna not so smooth around that corner, but when she had like the interruption to her rhythm, it's because she's sitting up and balancing and wanting to try and be sure that when she finished her turn, she was approaching that double of verticals on a good one. It is a steady time. It is 46.00. It goes into the lead for the moment, as Senna is the 4th of 10 to jump off and gives us our first double clear.
It's a clear, it's 46 seconds. So that really does leverage the pressure now on the other athletes. No chance. It's got to be clear and it's got to be fast. It's got to be less than 46 seconds. Now we have this fabulous little grey pony, Dance Floor de Coury, ridden by Elise Sirion for Belgium. It's a stunning little pony. Let's see what they can do.
So taking us to halfway through the starting field, Elise Thirion of Belgium and Dance Floor de Coury. The medalists this summer with the Belgian team at Le Mans. We're on the Belgian team that won the second qualifying competition at the Nations Cup Youth Finals at Leer Ezelhof as well. Elise, who came to us from the top 10 of the warm-up, finished 9th on a clear round here 2 nights ago. It's still not going to be as fast as those times we saw from our first couple. Elise Thirion, 46.87, indeed a little bit slower than Senna Becker, so going into second place there, but very, very pleased with that double clear here in the first Grand Prix of the season of Jumping Ponies Trophy.
What a super clear. Now we go to Sweden. The single athlete in this jump off is Viggo Bergstrand coming forward with the 12-year-old stallion, Kobe legend.
Kobe legend and Viggo Bergstrand. Finished one place in front of Elise Thirion here the other night in the warm-up. Gets a good turn back there. You can see him working hard to, one, turn as quickly as possible, but also try and maintain the balance and the rhythm and the smoothness. 34, 35 seconds here. It's gone. The front rail is gone. So those two clear rounds, even as slow as they are, still very, very valuable. That becomes our fastest 4-faulter in 40, no, it's Sophie Aurelia-Georges was 39.22, but 40.37 is right there in the mix. Fourth position for Viggo Bergstrand at the moment.
And for Great Britain, it's Alfie Diper coming forward now with Helen Diper's lovely PJV Bella.
Alfie Diper, PJV Bella. Can he just pull out the little bit extra tonight? Been denied the win on day one and denied the podium on day two. But has he, saved it for the right moment. Alfie, PJV Bella. The time unfortunately looks a little bit against him, and now the rails are against him as well. Alfie and PJV Bella on 4, 42.78. And when I say the time is against him, of course, I'm thinking about the fact that our opening pair got around in like 41 or so seconds, and therefore, you know, that really is what we need to be looking at. Although we do only have those two clears, 46 seconds each. Selma Hundberg-Dresler, one of two for the home side here. And absolutely motoring. We'll just put down a little bit there on the backside of that fence. It's going to be a very good time. There we are. Now we've got a very, very competitive double clear. Selma Hundberg-Dresler and Lady Crown clear in that time of 40.64 seconds to take up the lead with only two riders remaining. So podium is absolutely guaranteed for the young Dane, who's top 5 with us here in Herning last year and went on to a podium at the final at Mechelen in Belgium. Palmer Sophie Gry Janssen Christensen now also for Denmark. The 13-year-old. Turned 14 in December, and then 2 full seasons of pony still ahead of her, just like our double winner here this week, Liselott Kurumans. So Palmer Sophie Gry Janssen Christensen, Bodise de Aveline, can they go faster than countrywoman Selma Hundberg-Dresler with the clear round in 40.64? looking, they're preparing brilliantly for these tight turns, and of course the pony's able to nip in places where horses wouldn't dream of it. 40.64 to beat. This is possible here for Palmer, Sophie Gree, Janssen, Christian Nielsen. Yes, 39.92. We've seen a little bit past her from Sophie Aurelia Georges, but that was with penalties. Palmer, Sophie Gree, Janssen, Christensen goes into the lead, and a very, very competitive time from the Danish rider here. Could it be a Danish victory?
The winner of both warm-up classes and last to go in the Pavo FEI Jumping Ponies Trophy is the magnificent 21-year-old pony Ilando van der Russel, ridden for the Netherlands by Lieselot Koermans.
So the double winner here with us in Herning this week, the rider who took the Grand Prix here 12 months ago as well, before going on to the finals at Mechelen. Lieselot Koermans of the Netherlands, Ilando van der Rooshoven. That's quite the challenge, 39.92 to beat. I mean, you would take nothing away from the week Lieselot has had, and the result it might be if she was just to be double clear and couldn't catch Palmer's time. If she can overtake Palmer Sophie's time and take the victory here as well, it has just been the most astounding week for Lieselot Koermans. 34 seconds landing. Lieselot Koermans, Ilando van der Rooshoven, they are going to do this. 38.13, 1.29 seconds faster. Lieselot Koermans, Ilando van der Rooshoven make it a double of Grand Prix victories here in Herning. 2024 and now 2025 taking the Grand Prix, and with it the maximum points on the FEI Jumping Ponies Trophy for the Netherlands. As I say, whilst her pony is 21, Lieselot has a good bit of ponies ahead of her, turning 14 in mid-November, and then 2 full seasons on ponies ahead of Lieselot, who has been the European gold medalist this year in children on horses, and she and Ilando were the European individual silver medalists last year at the ponies at Optlebeek. So after the excitement of the jump-off, it is going to be awards coming up here very quickly in our Pavo Jumping Ponies Trophy Grand Prix. We hope you'll stay with us as we recognise the athletes who've given us such incredible sport across 3 days here in the boxen at Herning, and a super, super Grand Prix to deliver the first points in the FEI Jumping Ponies Trophy season for 2025. Don't forget, on Clip My Horse across the winter season from Equita Lyon, Longines Lyon, at the beginning of November, and then a couple of weeks later the Stuttgart German Masters from the Schleierhalle. We'll have more Jumping Ponies Trophy, and after those 3 qualifying legs this year, we'll be onwards then between Christmas and New Year to the finals at the Neckarhal in Mechelen in Belgium. Next year as well, Salzburg in Austria, the Amadeus Horse Indoors rejoins the fray as well, which will give another group of young talents an opportunity to try and score points and make it through to the finals as well. So all to look forward to, and as I say, from our perspective, a huge year of youth jumping sport coming up next year, with the FEI Nations Cup Youth starting at Vejer in Spain from the 11th to the 15th of March, and going on through Optlebeek in Belgium, Compiègne in France, Zudovice in the Czech Republic, Drammen in Norway, Busto in Italy, Jeskovo in Poland, De Volden in the Netherlands, Babolna in Hungary, Hagen in Germany, and then Zurich for the final qualifying leg before we go back to Kronenberg in the Netherlands from the 9th to the 13th of December for the FEI Nations Cup Youth Finals. And if you're just joining us here on the stream, we're getting ready for the awards of the Parvo Jumping Ponies Trophy Grand Prix here, the opening leg of the Jumping Ponies Trophy season from Herning. We've already completed the World Cup from Herning. That was the FEI Dressage World Cup leg here earlier on with its Grand Prix freestyle to music. The first 20 points in that World Cup series handed out. And the first 20 points in the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup Western European League will be handed out at Oslo in Norway on Sunday, and that's a 3:30 local time first horse, and that is European time 1 hour ahead of the UK and Ireland and 6 hours ahead of the East Coast in the United States of America. Speaking of America, two big shows on the network over there this weekend. Major League Show Jumping from Tryon in North Carolina, and then the Mars, Maryland 5-star eventing competition at the Fairhill Special Events Zone in Elkton, Maryland, and a field of just over 20 taking on that track, with Olympic designer Pierre Le Goupil taking on course design duties up and down the hills of Maryland this year, and cross country getting underway very, very shortly. And indeed, a preview currently underway on our free-to-air in-out show. And if you haven't caught the in-out and you haven't caught it from the start, you can of course go back to the very beginning as a premium member. With the subject of eventing on our minds as well, this weekend is also the FEI WBFSH World Championship eventing for young horses, the 6 and 7-year-olds at Le Lion d'Angers in France. So we'll see who's going to take those FEI WBFSH medals over the course of the weekend. Cross country, of course, concluded earlier on today, with show jumping tomorrow. But if you want to catch up on any of the action, of course, all in the archive. So our prize-winning athletes in the opening Jumping Ponies Trophy Grand Prix of the season joining us here, and it is a little bit of history repeating, because standing in the winner's circle for the second year in a row is young Dutch talent Lieselot Koeremans, winning with Ilando van der Ros over the Grand Prix here in Herning for the second year in a row. So our presentation starting, as it has done each night, up the line. So we go first of all and recognize our 5th place finisher, Elise Thirion and a Dance Floor de Coroy.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding for the national anthem of the Netherlands.
So the national anthem then for winning rider Lieselot Koeremans and Ilando van der Ros, taking that 38.13 time to lead the way with, of course, that all-impressive double clear. Representatives of sponsors Parvo, the organising committee here at the World Cup Herning.
And so to second place, and what a terrific performance we had from both the next two Danish athletes. But eventually, in 39.92 with a double clear, in second place, Palmer Sophie Green, Janssen Christensen.
Yeah, holding their form all week, actually, are Danish riders. As we say, on the first night, we had 3 or 4 of them inside the top 10, and amongst our clears, I think about 5 Danish riders. We end up with 2 on the podium, as we did in the warm-up class 2 nights ago as well. Palmer Sophie Green, Janssen Christensen and Bodise de Aveline must have almost thought they'd done enough. And I think if you went up against the phenomenon that is Liselott Koeremans and Orlando van der Roshover, you probably would have done enough to be a home winner. And then in third place, Selma Hundberg-Dresler and Lady Crown.
And in fourth place, again on really, really strong ground, Senna Beckers with Comte de Lisieux for the Netherlands, receiving a bag of Pavo Mash.
Senna Beckers, Comte de Lisieux, with congratulations, of course. We should also mention that this is Selma Hundberg-Dresler's second time right in the mix here in Denmark and at Herning, and went on to be a podium finisher at Mechelen last year in the actual Jumping Pony Trophy final. Senna Beckers and now the grey of Elise Thirion and Dance Floor de Coroy being recognised for their top 5 finish. And actually nice, the format here at Herning has been to always bring in the top 5, but a perfect result in that we ended up with 5 double clears over the day. So Liselott Koeremans and Orlando van der Roshover, though, starting the campaign, the challenge, the Jumping Ponies Trophy, as they did 12 months ago with a Grand Prix win here at the opening leg in Herning, Denmark, in the Boxen. And I hope we'll see many of our Herning competitors at the Longines Equita Lyon at the beginning of November, at the Stuttgart German Masters mid-November, and hopefully then on to the Jumping Ponies Trophy final in Mechelen in Belgium between Christmas and New Year. That is all in the future, though. Today it is all about these young riders and their performance here in the Boxen, and of course the incredible week that we've seen for Liselott Koeremans and the 21-year-old Orlando van der Roshover. Winners on Wednesday, winners on Thursday, and then winners of the Grand Prix itself in the Jumping Ponies Trophy here in Herning. Well, thank you so much for being along for the ride with us during Jumping Ponies Trophy here from Denmark. As I say, you've got so much more to look forward to over the winter if you follow the ponies, but of course the Jumping World Cup getting very much into the swing this weekend as well, and nearly every weekend some World Cup jumping action for you. Major League in North America carrying on as well. Hope you get into that. And then, of course, we have plenty lined up for you in 2026 as well. But from everyone here at Herning, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye for now.
Fabulous afternoon and into the early evening we have. We have one more big class to go, scheduled for 8:15, 2015, the CSI 3-star Ceteri S Grand Prix. Meter 50. Do be sure to join us in time for that.
You cannot force to go again to the Olympics, to go into the World Championship, but you can go for it.
Het mooiste van topsport vind ik gewoon, dat is gewoon de wedstrijd kunnen winnen.
aber am Ende ist entscheidend, dass das Pferd glücklich ist. Und wenn das Pferd glücklich ist, ist der Reiter auch glücklich.
Don't miss it and get a premium membership on Ponies TV now to enjoy the players as well as our evening archive search of Awesome Rider and all that wherever and wherever you want, whether on the tablet, smartphone, computer or smart TV. Premium membership will always have the whole of sports on the go with you.
Foreningen Dressurens venner uddeler hver år mishandelsmidlet pris til en person, der har gjort noget særligt for dressuren, ligesom individuelle udvalg kan surrogater. Derudover støtter foreningen events, både verdensmesterskaberne og internationale steder på dansk grund. Og på banen vil dressurens venner Pony, der hvert år afvikles på et A-niveau.
Hvis man kan følge nogen, så kan man altså og så langsomt opad. Det er jo spændende og
Dressurens venner uddeler omkring en halv million kroner årligt til at fremme aktiviteter, der ligger inden for formålet. Midlerne kommer fra sponsorer